Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to show you the creation that I've already made. I really love it, but let me just show you a quick close-up. How did I make this? I'm going to take you through step by step, and I also want you to know that this wasn't very easy. In fact, I started one technique, it didn't go according to plan, and I ended up with this. So maybe a win-win. You decide, you see how I go from start to finish and what I do to really change up the creation and change technique to finish with that final result. This is going to be a bit different because I stop one technique and start a different one. But that's all part of evolving as an artist and just being in that present moment, because if it's not going to work, then switch it up, right? I'm so pleased that you're here with me. Thank you so much for all of your support. Let's see what we can create. So let's go through some of these colours. You can see that I've got a standard black and white. I'm also using brands by Arteza, Amsterdam, Winsor & Newton and Pebeo. I'm going to list all of these colours and the brands in the description box. So if ever you want to find out what colours I'm using in any of my tutorials, please expand that box because I list everything in there. Let's work through these consistencies. So I'm just using a paint and water combination, and you'll see the consistency here as it runs off the spatula back into the cup. And my ratios I'm using for all of these colours is a 1:1, 1 part paint to 1 part water. So let's get on with this creation. And as I said right at the beginning, this really does change. But I really wanted to show you how I started this, so you can see that when you're struggling with a certain technique or you want to change your ideas, there's definitely ways that you can do this. So I'm starting off with a split base. I'm using a black and a burgundy, and then we'll continue with the process. I'm just using a torch to pop any air bubbles, and then I'm going to take one colour at a time and place that colour in the middle where the burgundy and the black meet on the split base, so just down this line here. So as I say, one colour at a time, and then we're going to blow the creation out. So that's now all of the paint on the canvas in that line where that burgundy and black meet. And I'm going to use my hairdryer to blow the paint out across the canvas. I'm just going to use my torch one more time just to pop any air bubbles. And my hairdryer itself is going to be set on a cool setting and the lowest blow speed. So I'm just going to move some of my pots out of the way, and then I'm just going to blow in this direction first and then feather out the creation. So let me get my hairdryer, cool setting, lowest blow speed, let's go. So if I'm being totally honest, and I always am with you guys, I'm not happy with the composition of this one. I haven't left enough negative space, so the burgundy and the black, so you can see those colours over the top of that split base colour. The reason for that probably is I layered too much paint to begin with. So I'm going to scrap that idea. Don't shout at me. You've seen right at the beginning of the video the end product, but let me show you how I got there. I didn't scrape my canvas. I want to use all the paint that I've already got on the canvas. So the paint that's already there on the base will act as like my flow extender. But I am puddling those colours. I'm keeping the same colours in the middle of the canvas, just one colour at a time. And then I'm going to use my blow dryer and then blow out the colours from the middle to the outer edge. I've got to be honest, I'm feeling that this one is so much better. I haven't given up on the split base. I am going to revisit that. But for now, this one is definitely the one to go with. I'm really pleased that I changed my technique throughout. And it's about really knowing when to step back and go, okay, this isn't working for me. I knew that it wasn't going to work, I think, when I started blowing that creation out because of the composition. But I love the colour palette, so that's why I wanted to stick with this. I'm going to finish up just blowing out some of that paint, and then I'm going to take you in for a closer look at the wet version, and then of course the dry version. I just love some of these details and these patterns. And remember guys, I haven't added any activator. There's no silicone oil. There's nothing in there apart from a combination of paint and water. Acrylic paint mixed with water with the ratio of 1:1. And you'll know by now you can create cells naturally like this because different densities of paint will react. So heavier paints will sink, lighter paints will go up to the surface. And that's really what cells are. So here's the dry version. It's not yet varnished. This is probably, what, one and a half days to 2 days drying time, just to touch. But I do let this painting sit for a good 2 to 3 weeks to fully cure. I do that with all of my paintings before I varnish them. So that's kind of my drying time and my drying expectations. I love how it's dried, and I'm really pleased that I changed my mind from the split base to this one. Anyway, I hope you've had fun. If you have, please give it a like, share it out if you can, and let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to experiment more with a split base, because I think I'd really love to revisit that one. Thank you so much for all of your support. Have a great week ahead, and whatever you're up to creatively, I hope you're having fun. Take care of yourselves, and I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Bye!